Good morning, chili dogs. What you focus on grows. Feed them horses. We got 3 more pots coming at you guys. I'm gonna get over there. I'm gonna kind of speed through it today. I have during the summer session, I'm not working 7 days a week, so I finally have my Sundays to myself, and I'm like so pumped up. I'm gonna do some editing later, and then I'm actually gonna call some people, and it's gonna be cool. But anyway, I'm gonna get over there. I'll see you guys in a second. Green, off. I'm still a young guy, right? So I don't have a lot of wisdom yet, right? But I think a lot of my stuff, like my thoughts and theories, I think part of the coolest thing about living in today's society, right, is the fact that there's fictional characters that invoke such a deep emotion from you, right? I'm thinking about characters like Rock Lee and Naruto and, a lot of like newer characters as well. And I think, a lot of people just like dish them off as just like some little cartoon, right? But I think they really help you like have this image of something that's impossible and like attack it unrelenting. And so I always say just pick something and just attack it unrelenting no matter what, right? I'm gonna grab my llama here. Llama's gonna bite down right on this rim. When I get over here to camera B, there we go. Right up underneath, slowly pull this up. Call this a llama pole. It's almost, you want to get it to look like a volcano there, right? There's this one scene from SpongeBob where they get like superpowers, and Squidward is like this volcano guy, and he says, Krakatoa!
Captain Magma! Get him angry and he's bound to erupt! Krakatoa!
I might color this in just a tad. I think that's something I want to do. Again, right down to the bottom. I'm gonna ask. You always ask the clay for a quest, and the clay will always give you a quest in the form of this little bump that you just have to take right up the side of the vessel here, right? Sounded fine to me to be H. Is it too quiet? If you haven't, I would recommend reading a bit of philosophy. Processing clay is actually a common allegory for trusting the entropy of your life and your own ability to shape the result. Are you making a scaled-down replica of the Tower of Babel? Interesting. Duolingo, did you do your lesson today? Oh, that's so funny. Alright, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. The water. And you're slowly going to push this top outwards, and it's going to twist up that middle nice and tight. Slowly. The hardest part to do is, first step is the starting of something, right? And then the second hardest is the finishing of something, right? It's that middle part in which your mental CPU has the least amount of load on it, right? Starting's hard, you're breaking through some of your natural habits that you've been building up to do something that you desire. And then the ending is that goal, that finish line, that reward that starts baiting you, right? And taking up more of that space in which you could be focusing on some other stuff, right? And so you gotta be careful with that. Keeping my finger, you know, on the interior, it's tense, right? But it's not pushing outwards, right? I'm allowing that right hand, right, the exterior hand, to dominate over that interior hand and allow that to push inward. I'm almost imagining like it's kind of like a upside down ice cream cone, right? And then that drummy part, right, with all the chocolate on the bottom, that's what we're aiming towards, but on the center of the pot there. Right, we're going back down again, right to the bottom here. You know, very slow always towards that bottom. Start defining that bump. It's that quest the clay gives you. You slowly just lift that up, right? A lot of people call this a pole. I think sometimes for beginners it's not ideal to call it that. I think really you should always be calling it like a lift. All right, camera B. There we go. A bit more water on my elbow. Again, right in on this base. And when we get to this top part, we gotta slow down just a little bit, and we gotta make sure we don't pull as much, because I noticed on that last pull that this top part was a little bit thin, and so I don't want it to rip or tear. So I'm gonna chill out on this top. I don't want to pull too much, but I want to make sure I do address that rim of the pot, right? You can start seeing where it's getting a little bit wacky here, right? Slowly walk. These up. You can see we're slowly winding this up. Right on that part where it's a little bit thin, right? So we're just gonna pop that out just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. It's gonna get too thin there, so it's probably gonna collapse on this top, but we'll let it slowly kiss that rim. Right over to the side. And clay's gonna move over. You can see how I'm tilting that over forward because there's no clay in this area over here. So as you're pushing it down, it's gonna wanna glide down way easier. Transition that hand in front and get into a push and pull motion and bring that back up. Now it's really nice and centered right on that base. Okay, great. Hammer fist is coming down. And the base is the key to get that, to get something centered. As soon as you get that base centered, you're cruising. Life is gonna be way easier on you once you get that base centered, right? Maybe that's a metaphor too. Once the structure, the foundation is solid, everything else, you know, any storm that comes your way, you feel a lot more confident dealing with. So funny. Weird, but not out of pocket for some of the things that Freud has said, right? But again, you find this little bump. Slowly walk this up. And you'll see there's a little bit of wobble in that middle section there. But I'm not freaking out. I just continue that pull. And we go all the way up to the top here. The top is the hardest to deal with. It says the most tension towards that bottom, right? And look at that. There we go. But yeah. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna walk these up. Do a spider pull right on this top edge here. So we did a double tree top. Yeah, I wish you guys could see that. Here, camera A. Camera A. Can you see that interior there? It's hard to, yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Well, maybe I'll be able to show you guys in a second here. We're back again with another pottery review. We're going to start off with this one. This one's starting to water fissure towards the bottom. I should have done a better job getting some of that water off that. But I do think the tendrils and the lean on this one, it's very emotive. Like, this has got to be one of the pots in the past couple days that has the most emotion kind of baked into it. Really looking like if you type in figure gesture drawing online, there's something really emotive about this one. It's almost human, the way the appendages are crawling up the side of the vessel there. Anyway, we got this one here. We did a double bump on top, and we're actually sneaking in this interior. There's like a cool little spiral on the interior. I'll show you here. Wheel. So you can kind of see that interior spiral on this one a little bit, right? And that bump creates this little void where it's almost like hugging right around that spiral that's happening on the interior. I also think the thin tendrils on this one look pretty cool, so it's quite a vibe. And then we got this one right up here. I like the way that when the rim rips, right, and it almost ends up looking at you, right? And that rim, I always think, ends up looking like a framing device, right? And it's framing that spiral that's happening on that interior. You can almost see it, almost like the mouth is opening up there. And you can see that spiral happening. But the petals are a little bit thin on that one, so I'm not too sure, but I do like the way that one looks. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. All the best, and strong mentality.